Unheard of.
Yo, welcome back, everybody. It is 2023, a brand new year with your two favorite boys. And you're probably wondering, wow, it's been a while since they had a show, right? Yeah, it's been a while. It's been it's been probably close to a month, and so while we didn't really anticipate that long of a winter break, it happened. But hey, stuff happens between the holidays and sickness and big family gatherings. But you know what? I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be back for a new year of some good shows, good conversations. And as always, it's your two favorite guys, ABG and me. And to start that off, how was your
Um,
holiday, man?
it was pretty good, man. Christmas. It was all right. I was glad to see family and stuff. So we got together with some of Odessa's family and everything too. So it was good. New Year's was also pretty good. I still haven't. I don't know. I was gonna ask you if you had picked out any of your um New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, well, I think what I've learned is that resolutions for me suck because I can never stick to them like most people. So
Yeah.
now I think I'm just trying to challenge myself to like learn something different every year. So um, like last year, for my career, I went and I earned a few certifications. But this year, um, I figure I want to challenge myself to try and learn how to code. So I bought like some boot camp course that's self paced, so I can go through it and try to learn how to start coding and programming stuff like that. It's not really a resolution, just something I want to try and learn this year.
That's good. I mean, like I said, I still haven't picked out any resolutions. So, you know what? I feel like I just want to end up better at the end of this year than I was at the end of last year. So,
Yeah, I think I just like a challenge because if I challenge myself, then I'm more likely to stick to it. But if I say dumb things like, "Oh, let me go to the gym a few days a week," then I'll just get real lazy, and because there's no real goals, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever.
I got you, man. All right. How was your holiday break?
It was fantastic. Yeah, we stayed at home, had a great time with the kids for Christmas. Of course, I always love Christmas, but seeing the kids enjoy their gifts is always fun. Um, Tiff and we've had a really good time together since I've been off. I was off for a few weeks, and so we got to spend a lot of time together at the house. Um, yeah, it was pretty nice. New Year's went well. I think this was a great, calm holiday. And what I loved about this season was Tiff has been just like a rock star at making sure everything is saved up. And I know I've talked about it before, but this past year, she even made sure we built everything for the kids ahead of time. So like Christmas Eve, we didn't really have to do a whole bunch because most of it was already done. Um, so just a shout out to the lovely Tiff, who is my amazing wife. Always keeps us prepared holiday seasons.
There we
Um,
go.
but yeah, now I'm just looking forward to this year. Uh, we had a lot of stuff going on in 2022, so 2023 should be a little more calm. I think. I hope.
I got you. Yeah. I mean, my New Year started off pretty. I don't know, pretty regular. I guess I haven't really gotten into the whole process of becoming better, but I guess that my time has still kind of bled over from last year into this year, so nothing really
Yeah,
feels new right now.
yeah. I mean, we're all the same, really. The whole New Year, new me is always garbage stuff. Like, you're always mostly the same person every year.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
I mean, our looks change and maybe our attitudes change, but we're usually the same people. Um, yeah. So I know one thing I'm looking forward to in 2023 is being able to do more stuff with my family as a whole. Just because we come down to Georgia a lot to see family and friends, be there for special events. But this is a year where I think we're going to finally start doing some more stuff for us. So, you know, I think it's going to be way less trips to Georgia. So if people want to see the kids, they're going to have to fly up here.
There we
Because,
go. The line
yeah,
is in the sand. There it is. If you want to see Jared
yeah.
in 2023, you better buy your plane ticket.
Well, I mean, we got a couple things planned. Like Thanksgiving's a big deal for us to be around family. Christmas is more of like an immediate family thing, so just us. But we'll be there for Thanksgiving as a whole, and um, I'm coming down in May because Hunter's graduating high school, so I want to be there for that.
Yeah.
But the whole family's not coming down. Um, and so far, that's like the only trips we have planned, at least to go down there. Um, because we're trying to do things like take a vacation for ourselves and stuff this year. It's been like 2 or 3 years where we just spend our off time going back home and seeing family. So it's time to do some stuff for us.
No problem with that. No problem with that. Yeah, maybe I might try to take some vacation this year. Do something
You should.
fun.
I'm super blessed because many people may know I also work for Microsoft, and they actually just announced a policy, and I'm not giving anything away that's like secret or whatever, just because there's articles about it now for salaried people. Um, they're trying to compete with big tech companies now, and so virtually I have unlimited PTO now. They changed the PTO policy where if your salary, it's not just earned hours anymore. Basically, if you want to take 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, it's just kind of granted as long as there's no big things in the way.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about unlimited PTO, and like I feel
Yeah,
like that maybe. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'd abuse it.
I think they're gonna find the abusers really quickly, you know.
Yeah,
But aside from that, it's also weird because if you come from like a competitive environment, especially like me, where I've been saving time, I try to save time when I can, just to save up for the next big trip, or if an emergency pops up, then I would be good. But it'd be really weird if you see somebody that's taking like a couple weeks every couple months, and you're like, dang, we used to have to work for this, and now everybody's just off all the time. But I don't know.
yeah.
I'm actually hoping it's going to turn out for the better because companies like Netflix and other big tech companies are doing it, and it seems like most of the people aren't abusers, and it works out fine. So we'll see.
All right, cool. Heck yeah, man. But yeah, we got a pretty good show, I think, planned out for today. So I mean, I guess if you want to just hop right into the to our first topic, we got
Yeah,
Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar. We talked about it. Did we talk about it the last
we,
episode too?
I think we talked about it because we had said we was wondering if it was going to be any good.
Yeah, yeah. So I have seen it. If you haven't seen it yet, hopefully I'm not gonna spoil anything for you, but it's really good in my
Mm,
opinion. I'm talking about like the visuals. It's nothing like you've ever seen before in your life. Like in my like I said, in my opinion, nothing like I've seen anything before in my life. It felt like, especially for those because he has like a few scenes that are in a really high frame rate,
yeah,
and it looks like you're just watching real life. You know what I'm saying? Like it looks like, especially because I watched it in IMAX 3D. So you have the 3D glasses on, everything is like right in your face and everything. So like the scenes underwater and everything, I'm telling you, like it looked like you're like you're just watching somebody have a camera in like a submarine or something like that with all the
Yeah,
wildlife in the water and stuff. It's crazy.
man. Yeah, I mean, you keep talking about the visuals, and so does everybody else. So I still haven't seen it. I probably should. I'm just thinking, do I really like Avatar that much to sit 3 hours in a theater? And I love movies, but once it hits the 3 hour mark, I got to be invested in a film to sit there. But I'll probably go see it just because everybody keeps talking good about it. Um, yeah, man. I actually went and I saw Puss in Boots on Friday night with Jaden, just because he's been talking about seeing that one. So I
Yeah,
haven't seen
I've heard
Avatar,
that
but
one's
I've seen
good.
Puss in Boots. It actually is pretty good. It's one of the better kids films that have come out recently.
Wow. But like, I guess kind of back to Avatar, like it's not without its faults. It's not without its a few like one-dimensional characters and everything like that. The dialogue is still hit or miss, which and it's still mostly miss. Um, but I like the themes of family and like the themes of like how far are you willing to go to protect your family, you
Yeah,
know? Um,
like Fast and Furious,
and say it again.
like Fast and Furious.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like Fast and Furious, except for on a different planet. Um, like I like those themes, and I mean I guess I like that they kind of gave up on the what was it called from the first Avatar movie, unobtainium, the little ore that they were trying to get
Yeah,
from Pandora. They kind of gave up on that and they moved on to something else, and it's from an animal. And I won't go into which animal, but like they're taking something from like I think it's the brain of an animal to stop aging. So
yeah.
so that's cool.
Well,
You
hmm?
I thought you were about to say something, dude.
Oh no, I thought you was gonna keep going.
Yeah, yeah, I am. So you get new humans turned into avatars. You meet new characters. I like the new characters that they introduced. I mean, a majority of the new characters are Jake Sully's children,
Yeah,
and I think the way that the story is going is that pretty soon, like it's gonna be more about his kids than than um than him. And so you get okay. Here's probably one of my worst uh takes. Not worst take, but like one thing that I thought was a big drawback. So you know how they had Sigourney Weaver in the first movie, right?
yeah,
They got her in here, of course, again this time, except this time she's playing like a 16-year-old girl, which should
yeah. I
be
seen
like
that.
all cool and all, but like the little 16-year-old girl obviously sounds like an old lady. It's like the way that she
You know,
talks and everything. Like you could tell that she is just an old ass woman.
I mean, there's old voice actors, but Sigourney Weaver, she's not used to that.
Yeah, they kind of took a L having her play a teenager because it was like you just like could feel that of course that this was just an old woman voicing just a young character.
Well, they did say I'd imagine the next few revolve around the children too, just because I know there's an interview with James Cameron where he's talking about they had to film the next two or three back to back because he didn't want the kids looking like they were 18 in middle school, like Stranger Things.
Yeah,
Um, so, but now, because it's made so much money, it's nearing like $2 billion globally. I think they said they are going to be able to release the next two or three, whatever it is,
Yeah,
which is
I think they had like the
insane.
scripts written for like up to four. And I think what
Five,
five, okay, I think what they said that like James Cameron did was like they were so it was so much to write and stuff like that that he got like a few other people to help him out, and then they all worked on all the scripts together, and then
yeah,
he gave them the ones that they were actually going to be working on after they were all done. So like
yeah,
all the scripts are finished for these next few sequels. They just got to film them. And I think the filming for the third one is already finished. It's because it's coming out next year.
yeah. I think the third and fourth one are already finished filming because, like I said, they filmed them back to back. But you also have to have money to distribute it, right?
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and pay the actors ahead of time, unless some of them have box office shares. But yeah, dang, that'd be interesting. I already seen some articles about uh, what is it? The next one's going to include like fire, Natari, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fire
uh,
avatars or whatever. Like it. I mean,
I was like, dang, we're
like I
going
said
Last
before.
Airbender style.
Yeah, right. Water and then fire. Um, like I said before, James Cameron was gonna have to do some really good world building in this sequel to get people to actually, be invested into it, and for them
Yeah,
to want to watch the sequels and everything that don't want to watch the same thing over and over again. And I think he told enough of a different story with this one, with an opportunity to go further. You know what I'm saying? So it should be good. The sequel should be good. At least three.
yeah, yeah, man. I gotta watch it. Yeah, I hope everybody's enjoyed it because clearly it's made plenty of money, so people are going to see it. Um, it's
Yeah, what is it
nearing
at?
it's like 1.9 billion,
It's
so
at
it's really close to
1.9
two.
already.
Yeah,
And
it's
what? The first movie made like what 2.9,
yeah, something like that.
and that was with like multiple re-releases. I think it
Yeah,
had like at least three re-releases, and so
it did.
for the sequel to get 2 bill, when it's just now coming out, like within like the first, what, I guess month and a half since it's been out,
Yeah,
like that's crazy. I don't even know if it's been out a month yet.
I think it has
Yeah.
13th or 14th. Um, yeah, man, that's. I mean, he came out and set a goal. He's like, we need to make at least 2 billion, and then here it is. I mean, I didn't think it would do it in one run because this is the guy who literally just re-released the first one a few months ago before this one, just so he could top out Endgame again and be the number one best selling movie. Um, but man, he's building something crazy. I think James Cameron has like three of the top five in the most grossing films. So whatever he does just makes money at this point.
And then they just did a re-release of Titanic too.
They
So
did.
he's just coming for all the money, bro. Like he's trying to become the richest director of all time.
I wouldn't doubt it if after all the Avatar films he directs, he just signs over the rights for like a couple bill and lives the rest of his life.
He probably could, like, especially if they want to keep going with him. Like I
Hmm.
think he said. Oh damn. He's like I'll probably end up making Avatar movies I'm dead. So like I think he said he got like plans for seven of them, and he's like
Yeah,
I'll be in my 90s by then, but somebody have to take over. So I mean
man.
he's got a fan in me. Everybody I feel like everybody who I talk to knows that I've been known to enjoy Avatar, so he's got me
Did
he's got me looped in.
Did you know that the Nickelodeon anime show, Avatar: The Last Airbender,
Yeah,
um, when it came out, it was titled just Avatar, and even though it came out way before the first one, apparently James Cameron already owned the rights to the name Avatar, so he
yep.
made them change the name to the Avatar: Last Airbender. I was like, dang man, this guy has been thinking about this. I think he said he dreamt it up after Titanic, so he had been on it for a while.
Yeah, like they had, I think they had plans to make it since like the 90s.
Yeah, it's just the technology wasn't there yet.
Yeah, and then I mean they ended up making that first one in 2000. I mean, well, released it in 2009, and I mean this one, the sequel, they filmed that in 2017. Like
Yeah,
it just took forever for it to come out, you know.
it's true.
And what Edie Falco said that she thought the movie had already come out and
Yeah,
had flopped. So yeah, those things that like those movies. I mean, it takes a lot of time, but I feel like it's a good payoff. I mean, like I said, just for how it looks, just how beautiful it looks by itself, man. You can't get it nowhere else, man.
yeah, that's true. And you know what? Speaking of beautiful, there's another thing that was beautiful that happened very recently, and it was the Bulldogs. Winning it all, hoisting this trophy yet again, back to back titles, four claimed national championships, three at least AP recognized. We got
Kirby,
the Dogs.
what a spectacular performance you.
You know,
I mean,
I'm indifferent.
out there
You know,
killing TCU.
that was absolutely a Mickey Mouse trophy. Um, that was the easiest damn win of all time.
Yeah, it
Like
was.
it was an embarrassment to TCU. Not well, that yeah, it's an embarrassment to them. Absolutely, they embarrassed themselves. Really, um,
Yeah,
it's just like they didn't come to play. Like I said, that game was I don't know, man. I feel like they probably could have done better. But like if you watch that game, which I watched all of it, unfortunately, like missed tackles, broken tackles everywhere, bro. I mean, I think the score was like 30 something to 7 in the
yeah.
second quarter, and I was like, yeah, I mean, obviously this is over. Like now it's just time to see how many points they're gonna get, you know?
We could have got 80 on them, but we, decided to rest all the starters and put them out, which is kind of the scary part because the backups looked really good too.
Like that has to be demoralizing, you know? Like not only to lose that bad, but to lose that bad on college football's biggest stage.
Yeah,
Like
they're the new Notre
recruit
Dame.
recruiting wise, I feel like they just set TCU back uh a few years.
Man, I don't know. We won't talk about it too much just because we know that it was an absolute stomping. But I thought I thought coming into the game, TCU had a high powered offense, and Georgia's defense was a little rough at the end of the season. But um, we were supposed to, we could have played better facing Ohio State. I mean, even in that game, we had two missed field goals, so the overall score should have been like 48-41 at the end. But I think Kirby was so pissed off that all these teams were scoring on us, and when he came out, I knew before the game we was about to kill him. When he came out and said aggression, she was like, "What's one thing you want to see from your team?" He was like, "Aggression," and he's like, "That was it." I was like, "Oh, they are not gonna show any mercy to TCU today." And yeah, I mean, obviously as a Dogs fan, I watched it all. It was absolutely fantastic. But a lot of people I mean, really myself included, will tell you that the week before was a way better college football weekend when Michigan played TCU and Georgia played Ohio State because
Yeah, man. TCU had me so fooled, bro. Like I was like, wow, like they're doing this to Michigan, like they're looking like they're like about to really beat Michigan's ass, and then of course Michigan came back at the end. But
yeah,
yeah, I
the,
was like, if they could, if I was like, if TCU can do exactly what they just did to Georgia, they might have a chance. And then the Ohio State game happened, and I was like, damn, Georgia might not even
yeah.
be in there to begin with, And then we saw how it ended. Right as soon as the basically as the ball dropped, he shanked that. Like it was like he wasn't even looking. It was like
I
he covered up his eyes before he kicked it.
well, I think the placement of the ball was also a little off too
Yeah,
by the quarterback that's setting it there. Um, I mean, look, like I said, I don't think Ohio State should have been in that game as much as they were because our defense is better than that. They but CJ Stroud is also that dude. So
yeah.
don't
CJ Stroud's draft stock it
yeah.
doubled after that night.
But see, I'll keep saying, yeah, it came down to the last second, but at the same time, we also missed two field goals. So it could have been 48-41 with them not even getting a shot at the end there.
I
But
mean, hey man, shoulda,
that's
coulda,
college
woulda. You know
football.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
I
if
mean,
you missed
that's
the field
football.
goal, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that Ohio State game, I was like, bro, like if they could beat Georgia, like that would make my heart sing. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't want to see nothing more than for Georgia to go down in the semifinal, and then of course we see how it went down, and then
Yeah.
they ended up with TCU on their hands, and I was like, you know what, TCU gave Michigan everything they had. I was like, I don't know if they could beat Georgia. This is what's
Yeah.
going on in my mind before the game. I'm like, I don't know if they could beat Georgia. The only thing I'm hoping for is a good game. And I said that a lot. I was like, you know what? I'm just hoping for a good game, good competitive game for the national championship. I don't care what team wins, even though I wanted to see TCU win. I was like, Georgia's probably going to win. I
Well,
just want to see it be competitive. And, for a Georgia hater like me, that was absolutely the worst game of the season for them
it's true.
to not only win the national championship, but to win how they did. Like I'm telling you, like me and Drew were watching the game. I almost got up and left. I was like, man, I'm leaving. But
See,
then after a while, I was like, you know what? We were talking and everything, so we kind of stopped paying full attention to the game. We were just talking. But that's why I'm glad I also watched the game with someone who wasn't a Georgia fan because then
yeah,
like I wouldn't be able to handle somebody celebrating every damn touchdown y'all got. Like I would have been so mad.
bro, it was a fun night, but like obviously yeah, the Ohio State game in the beginning I was one of the guys that was pissed off. I'm like, I can't believe our team is folding like this. But at halftime I was like, you know what? I believe in I believe in steady. The mailman always delivers. I was like, I'm not gonna cast doubt yet. I'm not gonna put nothing bad out there in message groups, nothing on Facebook. I'm just gonna wait till the end and believe in the mailman. And when he delivered in that fourth quarter, and what's crazy is people talk about his draft stock as if he's not a good quarterback because of things like Kirby Smart saying he needed to play better in the championship than he did in Ohio State. He still had like 4 touchdowns against Ohio State. So I mean, I get it. He's a little undersized, but so is Bryce Young, and Stetson Bennett's stats are super comparable to all the people that they're putting out there. I know he's like 25, but so is Hendon Hooker, and nobody's talking about his draft stock because of his age.
Hey
Um,
man, I wish Auburn had a quarterback that had been playing
yeah,
college football for the past 8 years.
You got to blame COVID though, because COVID gave a lot of these guys 2 extra years of eligibility when they thought they were going to have to cancel seasons, and that they obviously didn't. So now we're in this weird stage where we've got 23 to 25-year-olds playing the positions, and it'll be phased out in a couple years just because they'll all graduate. But right now, guys like Hendon Hooker and Stetson Bennett are because of COVID. Like if it wasn't for that COVID rule, Stetson Bennett would have been gone like 2 years ago.
Yeah, he'd have been
But
gone
he
already.
got yeah, he got his shot, thanks to COVID. And I'd say I'm always the guy that says if you shine in the biggest moments in college football, you deserve a shot in the NFL. Like I don't know how in the world, and obviously we don't have to talk about him because he's done some horrible things off the field. But a few years ago, when Deshaun Watson was coming up in the draft, he played in two national title games, right? The biggest stage, performed really well, and people were saying Mitch Trubisky was going to be better than him, and Mitch Trubisky
Yeah,
got drafted better. I'm like, but how? Watson has played on the biggest stage and performed well. Like this dude is going to be clutch. It's the same argument I have for guys like Stetson Bennett. Plays in the biggest stages, always does well. He doesn't fold. I think guys like that deserve a shot.
yeah. I mean, I don't. I mean, of course, I don't know the future, so I don't know how well he's going to perform in the NFL. But if
Yeah.
Stetson Bennett, if he plays as well as he has been these past couple seasons, he's got nothing to worry about. I mean,
And
I
how
feel like
about Jim
somebody
Harbaugh?
said again.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I said I feel like somebody would pick him up. I mean, I feel like he'd probably land somewhere like I don't know, maybe the Broncos or something like that.
Yeah. I mean,
So
send him to a terrible organization. Send him to the Texans. See what
yeah,
he can
send him
do.
to the Texans, like I said, or the Broncos, and
Yeah, yeah.
and see what he
Well,
can do.
they're stuck with Russ. They're
Yeah,
stuck
we're
with
talking
Russ
about
because
Russ
of
for
that
what,
dumb contract.
three more seasons.
Try like 5. Yeah,
Ugh.
because he had 2 years left on his Seattle deal, and then they signed him to a
Yeah,
5-year extension.
yeah, that's crazy.
um, but yeah, and on the flip side of college football, a lot of people are talking about Jim Harbaugh because people think he's going to jump to the NFL, and he keeps taking interviews like he's going to. But he's actually underpaid as far as college coaches go because he took a pay cut a
Yeah,
few years ago,
he did.
and supposedly he's pissed off about that, which is why he keeps taking NFL interviews. But because he wants to be paid like Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, right? But in the same breath, my guy is like 0-7 in bowl games
Yeah,
now.
you gotta win.
Yeah, like he's only beaten Ohio State like 2 years out of the whole tenure that he's been there. So he's getting better, but he's still chokes in the biggest moments. Like they should have beaten TCU.
They should have. I thought they were, and then TCU put up that crazy fight, bro. Like imagine if TCU was ranked fourth
Yeah,
and Georgia played TCU first, beat their ass, got that out of the way. Ohio State beats Michigan,
yeah,
and then we got that Georgia and Ohio State game in the
that'd have been
championship. If
good.
that was if that was the same game in the national championship, that would have been a great game. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have been upset if Georgia won. You know what I'm saying? Because them boys put up a big old fight. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I
But
think we would have
I
stomped
just,
Michigan too because we stomped them in the playoffs last year.
oh yeah, I mean that's why I said go ahead. Like if TCU was four, go ahead and play TCU and beat their ass. You know what I'm saying? Um,
I think
so
secretly the college committee wanted another Michigan and Ohio State rematch, and
yeah, they did. They definitely did, and it didn't. They didn't happen.
yeah, because the way they did the seating, I think they were secretly hoping for that, and then it didn't work out for them.
I really think they should also be embarrassed about this, like the way because TCU had no reason to be third,
It was
bro.
just
Third.
I mean, they looked really bad. They looked like they didn't belong on that field with us. But at the same
They look
time, I mean,
like they look. they were playing a JV high school team, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, in the same breath, they did go out and play Michigan. It's just I think what it was is they gave Michigan everything they had, and then they had nothing for us. Like
That is
it
so
was,
lame, bro.
but I mean, hey, college football, 12 teams isn't going to make that better. Um, but in the
I
same
mean, yeah,
token, if
I feel like
Alabama got
12
through,
teams.
people would have been pissed off if Alabama would have made the playoffs as a two-loss team because you had four teams that were either undefeated or just had one loss.
Yeah,
So there's two sides to every coin. Obviously, I think Alabama would have played better in the playoffs than TCU, um, just because their losses to Tennessee and LSU were super close. But that's not the way the seeding works, especially. And I'm a big proponent of if you don't win your conference and you're not right there, I don't think you deserve a shot anyways. They didn't even make it to the SEC game. So
yeah,
I'm a big believer in stuff like that. And before we move on to anything else, just on a quick side note, after celebrating the championship, um, we had a lineman and a staff member that passed away at UGA, Devin Wilcock and Chandler LaCroix. So, hey, even in a time of celebration, there's some tragedy, but hearts out to
yeah,
y'all,
man.
and that sucks.
That's
But
tough.
yeah, hearts out to those families involved. Um, but yeah, it was a heck of a college season, and having said all that, right? We've talked about some good football. Now I can celebrate because the Bulldogs won the college championship. But what we also have is a celebration of ABG because he won the fantasy football title. I mean,
Hey,
talk
man.
about an underdog story, a man who, uh, you know, undeservingly was at the bottom of the league for a couple years, but now he comes up from, you know, the gates of hell, and he's a one-man wrecking ball, swinging through those playoffs, killing everybody, and he killed us all this year in fantasy, and the title belongs to ABG this year in our
Hey,
group.
I did what I had to do, man. I came here with, lofty claims of
You did.
of uh, of winning a championship last season, and we see how that ended up. But this year, I really I feel like I hate to say how much I did research and tried this season, like harder than I ever had before. And like I'm telling you, I kept my nose in the waiver wires. I kept my nose in the news. I kept I kept I kept tabs on everything. I feel like, and I mean, it ended up working out for me. I feel like I drafted pretty solid team, but I feel like I made up a lot in the waiver wires. So like I had to do it to him. I had to do it to him this year,
Yeah, man,
and I mean,
killed us all.
just to beat the team, the two teams that looked the best in the last 2 weeks. Like that really didn't help my ego a lot. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I got a big head about that now, especially since people were calling for Jason's team to win it all since like week 3. But I mean, see, he had some solid players, but I feel like he didn't have enough solid players because like he ended up with like you know Kelsey and Mahomes and
Yeah,
Justin Jefferson and stuff. But I mean, then he had scrubs on his team. People
yeah, he did.
like that's where he was getting all his points from. So I knew if I just weathered that, or if they all had bad games, I had no problem. And
Also, yeah, man, I was so
I
happy. And at the same token, I was pissed off because I could have been there. I made a couple bad roster moves against Jason. I could have at least been in the game. But yeah, man. Hey,
yeah, we
congrats to
totally
you.
almost had an unheard of championship.
Yeah.
And I mean, no hatred to you, but I would have had to do it to you the same way.
You probably would have. I mean, even in the third place round, which would have been my championship, my team only scored like 97 points. So
Yeah.
it would have happened either way. But hey man, congrats to you. I also thought going into yours and Huddle's match, I thought, well, Huddle finished the season the strongest because he had like 9 straight wins. But at the
Oh
same
yeah.
time, that can't last forever. I was like, somebody's got to stop it at some point. And he gets that first round bye, and then immediately just gets knocked out, which hey, you hate to see it. But oh man,
I had to do it, man. What I ended up, yeah, I ended up stomping him in that one, bro. Like
yeah, he
I
did,
won, uh, I won that one by a good amount. Then I beat Jason by almost 40, if not
dude.
40. Like, and then I had an opportunity for more. You know what I'm saying? But of course, shout out to that unfortunately Damar Hamlin,
Yeah,
getting injured. Which is, I mean, it's okay.
yeah,
Um, he's out of the hospital now. Did you see that?
yeah.
And he made an appearance in the Bills. He was at the he was in the locker room and all that. He didn't go to the game today, but yeah, he's out of
I
the
mean, you
hospital.
have
What do
that
you
type
what?
of, huh?
Oh no, keep going, keep going.
I was gonna say you have that type of traumatic event, especially with something like a heart attack. I don't know if you want to go to a place that's booming like a football game right away, you know.
Yeah,
But
fair enough, fair enough.
I mean, so it's crazy because in in my work league, I also I won the title in that one, and you talk about um, how it could have turned out, like if if the game didn't get stopped.
Yeah,
And in my work league, I was beating a guy about 116 to 82, so already by 30 plus points, right?
yeah,
And I had let me see, I had Jamar Chase and somebody else. I can't remember, but I had Jamar Chase and somebody else who still didn't play a full game, and I was already beating the guy. His team was done. So I was like, man, this could have been so much worse. But obviously, life happens, and NFL did the right thing in that situation by just stopping the
yeah,
game.
yeah, for sure, bro. When they
Because
were when they were doing all that, like cutting away to commercial, cutting back to
yeah,
the game, cutting away, I was like, they need to just go ahead and call this game because this ain't like nothing
yeah,
like nothing good has happened from here. They kept showing all the players crying and stuff. I was like, no, they're not gonna want to play this game, you know,
no,
after this. Like that was probably the craziest thing. It is the craziest thing I've ever seen happen on a football field, you know.
yeah.
And
You
and
never
and it, and
see
it
that.
and it was something that like seemed so innocuous. It's something that seems so routine. He just stuck his shoulder out and just kind of hit him. But just for him to get up and then fall back down like that and just collapse, that was the most insane thing I've ever seen on a football field.
Yeah, that was scary, man. I mean,
Yeah,
because immediately right away you're like, oh, it's not a brain injury. If it was a brain injury, he would have stayed down. But
yeah,
from the
yeah,
adrenaline, he comes back up and goes down. I was like, oh man, that's scary.
yeah.
And then you hear
And
about the CPR and the whole life threatening situation, which is insane. Because it's rare, right? Especially in the NFL for these things. You hear about it sometimes in high school and college football. I mean, even Cedartown had an incident like that a few years ago. Um, but yeah, it doesn't happen a lot in the NFL. So when it does, it still hits close to home. I mean, hey, it's a dangerous game, right? And yeah, it's crazy that that kind of happened this year. But hey, shout out to the trainers and everybody that virtually saved Damar's life in those first 10 minutes. Because now he's out of the hospital and able to recover from a heart attack.
yeah, man. And I mean, I always say, I'll never feel bad for somebody making all those millions of dollars, about any of their problems or anything like that. But like, that's something that you don't ever want to see. You don't want to see nobody, die just going to work. You know what I'm saying? Like that's terrible. So, glad that he ended up being all right.
Yeah, man. Um, yeah. So hey, football playoffs are here. NFL, we're gonna be counting it down, to the Super Bowl. Um, I would. I can't remember who we called our Super Bowl picks at the beginning of the year, but I'm pretty sure I said my underground pick was Baltimore, and now Lamar Jackson's not playing, so that pick's probably gonna be dead in the water real soon. With
Yeah. Did
this,
we did we
this is
make picks at the beginning of the season this year?
I think we might have called a couple teams, that I don't know if we made exact picks, but I know I talked about Baltimore because Lamar was in a contract year, but he spent like half the year injured, and he's not even playing today. So this is filmed before the Ravens game. Obviously, if you're listening to this on Monday, so I don't know how they're gonna do, but I'm gonna assume they're not gonna do as well as they would with Lamar Jackson in the lineup. So
I mean, no, especially playing Cincinnati, man. Like they don't
yeah,
they hit hard, man. They I mean, I don't know. Cincinnati, they could either be like a conservative 20 something point game, or it could be like 40 something points. So it all
yeah,
just depends on how Joe Burrow plays. So
Joey B. Which, by the way, we're also filming this after that Chargers game, which was insane. Uh, they thanks to Brandon Staley for getting the media off the Falcons' back for a little bit, because blowing that 27-point lead in the playoffs, that's going to get them off of our back for a while until we mess up again.
hopefully,
So
unfortunately, ours is still in the Super Bowl. So that's a
yeah,
big thing. But
but
blowing
I
a
thought the
20
game was
27
over.
27 point. Bro, I thought it was over too. 27 to nothing.
Trevor
What
Lawrence
was
had
it?
4 picks in the first half.
Yeah, was it 27 to 7 in the
Yeah,
by the first half,
yeah.
by halftime, and then
But it was
yeah, and then the game was
27-0, and then the Jags like scored at the end. So
yeah. So I mean, I don't know how I don't know how they were able to come back. Like that's just a really bad. And what was the final score?
31-30.
31. I'll say it was like a 31-30. Like you only
Yeah,
you
man.
only scored 3 points in the whole half, bro. Like that's that's tragic. I feel bad for Cameron Dicker, bro. The kicker for the Chargers. That was
Yeah,
my man during the season, bro. I picked him up. He did good for the team, but you
man.
know, I guess Justin Herbert will get him next season. He did end up, in my opinion, he did end up looking better at the end of the season, um, than he started out looking. But I mean, I don't know. I guess it's always next year.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, hey, the Chargers, they keep talking about they got that dude in Justin Herbert, right? But Brandon Staley is so aggressive. I mean, he had people question why he was playing like Mike Williams in the last game when, their fate was already decided. And then he gets injured. And so they aren't available to have Mike Williams in the playoffs. Um, so I don't know. A lot of people were calling for him to be fired. They say he's too aggressive, relies heavily on always going for it, and it always bites him in the end. But yeah, that was a crazy game. I thought Trevor Lawrence's first playoff run was done, but now he gets to move on another week. So Doug Peterson obviously way better in the NFL than Urban Meyer, especially in Jacksonville. Uh,
For sure. Speaking of firings though, getting fired. I'm sure you saw that Cliff Kingsbury got fired.
yeah,
Um,
takes a
and
one-way trip to Thailand.
did he?
Dude, so they say he booked a one-way plane ticket to Thailand, and multiple teams contacted him about becoming an offensive coordinator, and he's just like, "No, I'm not interested. I've got this guaranteed deal until 2027, so I'm gonna live on this vacation while the Arizona owner pays me."
Yeah, I mean, hell, you might as well, especially if that's how they're gonna do you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like a lot of that was out of his control. But of course they have to save
Yeah,
face, and somebody's got to take the blame for it. So
I I don't trust Kyler Murray honestly, and they're coming out and talking about he's gonna have input in the next head coaching. I'm like, why? He hasn't proved anything. Like, has he shown flashes of greatness? Sure. But what has he also shown? That he stays injured half the season, like every single year. Um, I mean, just look at it. Like their record, him and Cliff Kingsbury together, especially in the second half of the season, is always terrible. Like the past 3 or 4 years, and a lot of it, I mean, it probably has a lot to do with coaching. But Kyler Murray is injured most of the season by the end. I don't think he's played a full season at all since he came into the league.
I
He
mean, he
usually
played he
misses.
they when they he was in he played their playoff game last season.
Yeah, but before that, did they make playoffs last year?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I think he still had like 2 or 3 games where he was hurting out last
I mean,
season.
I mean, yeah, probably. He looked pitiful though, especially that last throw when he was getting tackled and he was trying to
Oh,
throw it.
yeah, that's right.
Ended up throwing it backwards, I think, or something like that, or
Oh,
he was trying to
yeah.
throw it in the
Yeah,
end
he
zone
was.
and he fell and he just like ended up throwing it nowhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he was there, but of
I said
course,
he's shown flashes. He hasn't shown me enough to prove that he's that dude who should have a say in the head coach
no,
search and all
no,
that.
he's still not that dude in my opinion. Yeah, he's not that guy. I did feel bad for him when he went out with his ACL.
Yeah.
Whew,
But
excuse
again,
me.
it just
This
goes to show,
season.
they also just paid him early, and he's got these injuries every year. So, I don't know. The Arizona Cardinals kinda seems like a mess, but so does Denver. I mean, Russell's contract is insane.
Yeah,
They
and
I mean, Nate Hackett was severely underprepared as a coach. Uh, and Russ has like his own private office and multiple parking spots. It's like,
that's
man,
lame
how
as hell.
entitled is this dude?
That's lame as hell, bro. Lamest quarterback in the league, bro, for sure.
You win one
Um,
Super Bowl off the backs of the Legion of Boom, and you're like the greatest Hall of Famer.
yeah, yeah. Um, but back, kind of back to the Cardinals. Have you seen any of Hard Knocks in season this year?
No,
It has the Cardinals in it. And this season was really good. I mean, I was obviously pretty sad for most of it since it picked up. Like they
yeah,
went on that huge losing streak, but the episode with D Hop and his mom, and
oh yeah,
then I like the episode when they were in Mexico playing San Francisco. Um, and then the last couple episodes with JJ Watt, now that he's retiring, like I mean, it's been pretty good.
yeah. I mean, I haven't seen it. I saw the JJ Watt video on YouTube, but the only thing I noticed was I thought one of them was getting fired. Either they were going to trade Kyler or fire Cliff super early in the season because I think it was a Thursday night game, maybe, or Monday. It was one of the primetime games. But, Kyler takes off his helmet during a timeout and he's telling Cliff, like, calm the F down.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And that little argument. Then he got into a little argument with D Hop on the sideline
Yeah,
in a different game. Um, but I mean, yeah, like you said, that franchise is about to be a complete dumpster fire, especially next season. And then
yeah,
especially what with their GM, he like stepped away, right, or something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah. I think he had like some health issues or something going on in the family, so he had to step down.
Yeah, so I feel like that franchise is about to be a dumpster fire. I feel like the Hawks, especially, are about to be a dumpster fire. Getting away from football, I guess, going to basketball. Um, with all the news that's coming out about the Hawks now, but
Yeah,
we did get a pretty decent win over Toronto last night.
yeah, it was good. Um, yeah, man, it's crazy. A lot of fun stuff happening too, especially during this playoff run and which coach is going to end up where. Um, I think the Broncos need a actual former head coach. I don't think they're going to be able to get Sean Payton because
I
apparently
would
his
say, do
asking price is
you
like
think
way
Sean
too
Payton's
high.
gonna?
No,
They're gonna keep his
they're
ass
talking
on
about
Fox.
paying. Yeah, they're talking about having to pay him like 20 million a year plus. You'd have to trade the Saints like a first rounder, and Denver
Yeah,
literally traded away their whole future with Russ. So
yeah, that sucks. Yeah, you gotta bring something to the table for the Saints if
yeah,
you're
so
going after Peyton right now.
I don't think he lands there. He might stay at Fox, but there's a few interesting spots because the Colts are almost a total rebuild at this point. Uh, so I wonder who's going to take that one. Houston, I would not take that job. They have screwed over the past two coaches. You,
Yeah,
I mean, the way they treated Lovey and what was his name? The guy before, was it Dean?
I don't remember.
I don't know, but they've only given these guys a year to prove themselves. The past 2 years with nothing. Like the roster is absolute crap,
Yeah.
and
Hey man,
so I
they
don't
got Damian
understand it.
Pierce.
Yeah, yeah, the one good sign, and they've got Brandon Cooks who doesn't even want to be there.
Yeah.
uh, so that'll be interesting. I bet what they're finally going to do is hire Josh McCown because they've actually wanted to hire him
Yeah,
forever.
they wanted him last season.
Yeah, but they knew there would be a
Or
lot
I
of
mean, I guess
backlash.
technically this season. Because
Yeah,
they interviewed him. They interviewed him like really early last year. Um,
yeah.
it was like right after the Super Bowl, I feel like, or something like that.
So I wouldn't count that out, but yeah, it's gonna be weird. Um, yeah, man, I'm glad to be back. Glad to be back on the
Yeah.
show.
Hopefully, hey everybody. Hopefully, we're done being bi-weekly or every so often. 2023, we're gonna try to be out here consistently week to week. Now we can't make no promises because our lives are uh, a little hectic sometimes, to
Yeah,
say the least. But we're gonna be more consistent, hopefully, this year.
yeah, yeah. So you know what? If you made it this far, you've gotten to about the end of the show here of our first one in 2023, and so I'll go ahead and move into closing thoughts. First one, go dogs, back to back. Um, second one is, um, yeah, just you don't have to be a better you, just be a better human being. You might suck in general, but just be a nice person to others when you're out in public. So that should be everybody's goal in 2023 to be a decent human being. Um, yeah, it's gonna be a fun year. Uh, I am on Twitter at Jared Evans, but I never put anything out there. So if you want to follow me there, go ahead. But you're not gonna see much. Not since the TSA battle. I got to find another battle to fight.
Yeah,
But
you gotta get into a spat with another
yeah,
company.
it's been a while, but nothing going on lately. But yeah, hope everybody had a great holiday season. And with all that, I'm going to pass it over to ABG.
All right. My closing thoughts. Happy New Year, everybody. I mean, I feel like I'm saying that. Of course, it is January 15th. Um. Oh man, we didn't talk about the Last of Us TV show. That sucks. It's coming out tonight.
I haven't watched it yet, so we can
It,
we
it's
can watch.
it's coming out for the first time tonight.
Well, then we can watch the first episode this week, and
Yeah,
then
fair enough, fair enough. And then
have
we can
election.
talk about it. Anyways, sorry to get distracted like that. But Happy New Year. I hope everything is going great for everybody who's listening, and for people who aren't even listening either. I hope everything's going great, and if it's not, I hope that everybody, um, yeah, you can just take your steps to get out of any situation that you feel like you are in, and I just hope for, you know, uh, what am I trying to say? For everybody to have a good life this year, a good life this year, a good year. I don't know. It's been
Yeah.
a long time since we've done one of these. I'm sorry. My first closing thoughts back is all messed up. Anyways, if you got this far in the episode, thank you. Y'all are who we do it for, and you can find me on Twitter at young without the O underscore ABG, and as you can see down here, that's our other well, that's our handle for the show, obviously, and that's where you can find us. And I guess for our people who are listening on Spotify. Do we do Spotify anymore?
Yeah. Yeah. We still do Spotify.
Okay, since we still do Spotify, you can find us pretty much everywhere at unheard underscore of pod. So yeah,
There
that's
you
for
go.
people who's just listening.
All right. So happy New Year, everyone. And as always, we love you, we hear you, and we hope you hear us here at Unheard of.
Unheard of.